Cowboys fans, what a game. After that win, there's a lot to unpack, so let's jump right in. First off, the Dallas Cowboys season is far from over. Now, I know some of you are thinking we're already living in fantasy land, but hear me out. Yes, the odds are stacked against them, but that tiny spark of hope is still alive. Losing to the Raiders could have completely derailed any playoff dreams, and we'd be talking about chaos, firings, and a season that was clearly slipping away. But here we are, and even if the path forward is narrow, it's there. The team needs a string of wins to stay in contention, and it won't be easy. To realistically stay alive, they have to beat Philadelphia in Week 12, because losing that matchup could be fatal for the playoff picture. They could survive a loss, or maybe two, but it's crucial these come against AFC teams since tiebreakers could make or break them if they stumble at the wrong time. Looking at the schedule, the Chiefs are quietly fighting for their playoff lives, sitting around 50% probability at the moment due to a few losses they've had this season. The Lions, for now, are just outside looking in, and the Vikings are in a similar position. Even games against the Vikings, Chargers, and Commanders might not be as daunting as initially thought, given the issues those teams are facing. The Commanders have had a rough season. The Chargers are battered with injuries, and the Vikings are dealing with their own challenges. But it all comes down to the stretch run: Philadelphia, Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota. The Cowboys realistically need to win at least 3 of those 4 games just to give themselves a shot at making the final push. So, after the Raiders win, it's fair to ask, where do you see this team finishing? How many victories can they realistically collect down the stretch? Now, let's talk about the defense. No, it is not suddenly elite after this last performance. That would be an overreaction. Yes, there were flashes of brilliance, and the Cowboys did play well against the Raiders. But let's be honest, the Raiders are one of the worst offensive teams in the league. They struggled to move the ball, and while the defense showed improvement, this doesn't magically erase the challenges that lie ahead. The real test comes against teams like Philadelphia, Kansas City, and Detroit, all of whom have put up serious points at different moments this season. Enjoy the win. Celebrate the bend but don't break moments, but don't fool yourself into thinking everything is fixed. This defense still has a long road ahead. Some individual performances, like those of Keenum's and others, were outstanding, but dominating a bottom-tier offense isn't enough evidence to declare a turnaround. Switching gears to the offense, the wide receiver situation is as exciting as ever. George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb have been lighting it up, and honestly, it doesn't make sense to pit them against each other or try to rank them. The Raiders had 0 answers for Pickens, who put up 9 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, Lamb had 5 receptions for 66 yards and a score. The dynamic between these two is incredible because they complement each other. Lamb draws attention from defenses, which opens opportunities for Pickens, and vice versa. Right now, Pickens is playing at a historic level, and it's been thrilling to watch. This year, he has already outperformed expectations, and having Lamb back just makes the offense that much harder to defend. The synergy between them is what makes the Cowboys' passing game so potent. And yes, the question everyone is asking, will the Cowboys pay George Pickens? Absolutely yes. There's no debate here. Keeping your top talent is essential, and in Pickens, the Cowboys have a player who is having a career-defining season. He is approaching 1,000 yards with 58 catches, 980 yards, and 7 touchdowns. His contributions are historic, setting franchise records in the first 10 games for receiving yards in Cowboys history. Even with past big-name receivers like Amari Cooper and Terrell Owens, no one has started like Pickens. His play style fits perfectly with Dak Prescott, and locking him in for an extension, likely in the low 30s per year, is a no-brainer. The money isn't an issue, and it's time to make sure the Cowboys maintain this explosive passing game for the future. There was also some early game drama that had fans buzzing. Pickens and Lamb were not on the field for the opening drive, which caused an immediate reaction. Some speculated about curfew violations or missed meetings, and yes, that moment sparked outrage when the team turned the ball over early. But in hindsight, this was a disciplined move by the coaching staff. Handling issues off the field and enforcing accountability is crucial to maintaining team culture, and ultimately, the duo responded perfectly. They came out and dominated, proving that even when the team has to impose discipline, it doesn't derail the performance. Finally, let's touch on the defensive front. Quentin Williams made a massive impact in his debut, particularly in the first half. His performance was dominant, with multiple quarterback hits and total disruption for the Raiders. This kind of first-half dominance is rare for a Cowboys defensive tackle and instantly changed the dynamic of the game. The Raiders were forced to adjust, using bubble screens and avoiding the run game entirely because of him. Williams delivered exactly what the Cowboys hoped for, and this kind of impact from a single player adds a whole new layer of strength to the defensive line. Now, building on Quentin Williams' debut, it's clear that the Cowboys have added a piece that can truly shift the momentum in games. He was relentless against the Raiders, showing that he can dominate the line of scrimmage and consistently pressure quarterbacks, which opens up opportunities for the secondary. This is exactly the kind of energy that can transform the defense, especially when the matchups get tougher. But again, let's not kid ourselves. One dominant game doesn't mean the defense has suddenly solved all its issues. The real tests are coming, and it's going to take a sustained effort across multiple games to see if this defensive unit can hold up against top offenses. Turning back to the offense, the synergy between Dak Prescott and his wide receivers continues to be a story worth following. Pickens and Lamb together create a matchup nightmare for any defense. In the Raiders game, it was remarkable to see Pickens explode while Lamb commanded attention, keeping defenders on their heels. Every time Dak drops back, it feels like there's a threat coming from multiple angles. Pickens is showing precision route running, incredible hands, and the ability to make contested catches look routine. Lamb, on the other hand, has that big play capability that keeps defensive coordinators up at night. When these two are on the field together, it's not just about individual stats, it's about how they elevate the entire offense. Defenses simply cannot focus on one without risking the other, which gives the Cowboys a huge strategic advantage. Looking ahead, the remaining schedule is brutal, but the potential payoff is massive. Every game in this stretch is pivotal. Beating Philadelphia in Week 12 is practically a must, as it sets the tone for the remaining contests and determines how viable the playoff path remains. Kansas City, Detroit, and Minnesota each present their own challenges, but the Cowboys have already demonstrated they can rise to the occasion. Execution, discipline, and staying healthy will be critical because, as we've seen this season, even small lapses can derail momentum. The next few weeks will test not only the talent on the roster, but also the mental toughness of the team. Can they maintain focus and consistency under pressure? That's the question everyone will be watching closely. The offensive line has also been a key factor in maintaining this momentum. Protecting Prescott while creating lanes for the running game has allowed the Cowboys to control the tempo. When the line holds up, Dak has the time to survey the field, make smart reads, and exploit mismatches. The Raiders' defensive line was no match, but the upcoming games will feature teams with far more sophisticated schemes and high-caliber pass rushers. This will truly test the line's ability to execute at a championship level. Injuries and fatigue will play a factor, so depth and rotation will be crucial. How the coaching staff manages these variables could determine the outcome of the Cowboys' playoff push. Special teams have quietly made a difference as well. Field position, returns, and the occasional big play can swing momentum in a tight game. While these units don't always get the spotlight, their contribution cannot be underestimated, especially in close contests against top-tier opponents. A solid return or a timely stop can be the difference between a win and a loss, and the Cowboys have been efficient in these moments. Maintaining that level of performance while continuing to execute in critical situations is essential if the team wants to stay competitive down the stretch. One area that remains under the microscope is defensive consistency. Yes, the Raiders' game showed flashes of brilliance, but as the Cowboys move into matchups against Philadelphia and Kansas City, the defense will face some of the league's most dynamic offenses. These games will reveal whether the improvements are real or with just a temporary spark. Key players like Cunims and Quinton Williams will need to maintain their level of performance, and the secondary must be ready to handle high-pressure situations. It's one thing to dominate a struggling offense. It's another to consistently stifle elite quarterbacks and receivers. This will be the ultimate test of whether the Cowboys' defensive adjustments and acquisitions are truly paying dividends. Offensively, there's no question that Dak Prescott has found a rhythm with his playmakers. The connection with Pickens and Lamb is electric, and it's giving the team a balanced threat that keeps defenses guessing. Running backs have also contributed, complementing the passing game and keeping the defense honest. The combination of a strong aerial attack and an effective ground game is what allows the Cowboys to control the pace and adapt to different situations. This balance will be vital as they approach the critical final stretch of the season, where every possession counts and mistakes are magnified. Discipline and coaching decisions will continue to be a storyline as well. The early game benching of Pickens and Lamb sparked debates about accountability, but the outcome proved the decision's merit. When players respond positively, it reinforces team culture and sets a precedent for handling future challenges. The Cowboys have shown they can manage internal dynamics effectively, keeping focus on performance while maintaining standards. This balance between accountability and opportunity is crucial in high-stakes environments and will influence the team's trajectory in the weeks ahead. In terms of personnel moves, the Quinton Williams addition has already paid immediate dividends. His presence alone changed how the Raiders approach the game, limiting their offensive options and forcing adjustments. Defensive tackles like Williams can be game changers, and when a player impacts the line of scrimmage this dramatically, it reverberates throughout the team. The Cowboys now have more tools to pressure quarterbacks, disrupt timing, and create turnovers, which will be invaluable against tougher opponents. This is the type of strategic acquisition that not only strengthens the roster immediately, but also sets up long-term advantages for the team. Looking at the big picture, the Dallas Cowboys are in a position where they must capitalize on every opportunity. Wins against key opponents, consistent execution on both sides of the ball, and maintaining health and discipline are non-negotiables. The offensive firepower led by Prescott, Pickens, and Lamb is complemented by a defense that has shown flashes of potential but still has tests ahead. Special teams, coaching decisions, and strategic adjustments will all play critical roles in whether this team can make a meaningful playoff run. The next series of games is not just about talent. It's about execution, resilience, and seizing every advantage. As we look toward the rest of the season, the key takeaway is this: the Cowboys have potential, but potential alone doesn't win games. Execution, consistency, and adaptability are everything. The next handful of matchups will test every aspect of this team, from quarterback play to defensive resilience, from offensive creativity to mental toughness. Players like Quinton Williams, George Pickens, and C.D. Lamb are proving that the talent is there, and the strategic acquisitions and coaching decisions show that the organization is thinking long-term. But the path forward is narrow, and there is no room for complacency. Each game is a high-stakes challenge, and the team's response will define whether they can turn playoff hopes into reality. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are swirling through the stadium as the tension between the Cowboys and the Raiders continues to mount. Sources close to both teams hint that the matchup has already transcended the gridiron, with players' eyes flashing fire before the first snap even lands. Onlookers report that the normally calm Cowboys locker room has been unusually charged, while Raiders players seem to be feeding off every small provocation, turning routine warm-ups into full-on displays of intensity. Rumors from insiders suggest that tempers could flare not just during the game, but in the interactions on the sidelines, where coaches and players exchange sharp words that barely reach the ears of spectators. Some say that a verbal spat during a recent practice set the tone for what could be one of the most charged encounters of the season. Even veteran players, known for their composure, appear to be feeling the pressure, exchanging pointed glances and gestures that hint at an underlying rivalry that goes beyond the usual competition. Fans and commentators alike are buzzing about potential confrontations. Social media posts from anonymous sources have already hinted at minor scuffles during training sessions, fueling speculation that emotions might spill over when the whistle blows. Analysts are debating whether this intensity will translate into spectacular plays or risky decisions, as adrenaline seems to be running higher than usual on both sides. Behind the scenes, team insiders whisper about strategic moves designed not only to outplay the opponent, but to get under their skin, creating a psychological battlefield alongside the physical one. While neither team has confirmed any incidents, the buildup has sparked endless debate among fans, with forums and message boards lighting up with predictions of clashes both on and off the field. As the stadium fills with anticipation, the buzz around this matchup grows louder. Everyone seems to sense that this isn't just another game. It's a collision of rivalries, pride, and simmering tensions. Whether it will explode into chaos or remain a fiery contest of wills, one thing is certain. The atmosphere is electric, and all eyes are glued to the field, waiting to see how this storm unfolds. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.